Hello everyone. So today we're going to talk about introduction, how to write introduction of a paper. So up till now we have reached the tentative title, I would say. So now we have the title. Then we do have the abstract where we are talking about the area, the first 3 lines, let's suppose, and then we're talking about our contribution in the paper, the next 3 lines. After this, the main thing comes, which is introduction. Now this is introduction of the title, and I would say there are 2 ways to work on introduction. 2 ways to work on introduction. One is to read and write, obviously. Read, write, and understand. But whereas another is to follow a certain methodology. More or less, both of them are same. So when we talk about introduction, you'll see that if this is my introduction, there are close to 6 paragraphs that are there in introduction. It can be 6, 16, but tentative minimum count is 6, and I will tell you how they are designed or they are written. The first paragraph is always going to be very, very broad, like this reverse pyramid. This is your first paragraph, which is simply going to talk about the introduction, the broad introduction of the technology. So if you're working on software defined networks, you're going to talk about SDN, what is their importance. Yeah, CS computer science में SDN का क्या significance है, because if you look at the entire graph or entire roadmap of computer science, you will see that there are many big areas. हम एक advanced technology के अंदर से हम कोई एरिया पिक करके हम उस एरिया पे काम कर रहे हैं. बट फॉर अ रीडर यू हैव टू पुट थिंग्स इन कॉन्टेक्स्ट. Meaning you will have to tell the reader that this is the title of my work and how am I connected with this title, how this title connects with the broader work that is already available. So first paragraph is always about broad introduction. Most of the times, we use some statistics, we use some conceptual information to tell about the significance, the overall whole and soul scheme of the things mein, what is the significance of this particular area. So first is broad intro, second is specific intro, right? Now this is where we come specifically to the topic, we filter down, and this can be your second paragraph, this one, right? This one, your second paragraph. Now this can simply be, for example, if I'm talking about blockchain, I might say how it was introduced. I might say 1 or 2 line about its history. Then I might say that it has taken the world by storm. And then I might give them some number valuations in dollars and figures. The numbers are already available. We just have to find the good ones that we can use to cite in our work and support our work. After this broad introduction, I can then tell about, maybe the specific types of blockchain. And then I may tell them that, I'm maybe working on private or maybe working on public one. Then iske andar, in the third paragraph, I may further dive into the more specific, to the point things which are related to this particular work, that why, the area that you've chosen, the title that you've chosen, what is the significance of that particular area and why you have chosen it. आप उस पे काम क्यों कर रहे हो? That is your third paragraph, I would say, where you are introducing your topic. So we went on top, broad introduction. After broad introduction, we talked about a little bit of specific introduction, where we came to the area. In third paragraph, we are actually coming to the significance of the title of this work. Significance of the title of this work, कि क्या ज़रूरत है इसे करने की, right? That is your third paragraph. Now after your third paragraph, you are going to enter the fourth paragraph, which is nice, this one. Now this tells what is it that you are doing in this work. यहाँ पे तो हमने significance बताई, we just told the significance of our work. In this section number 4, we are going to tell what exactly is it that we are trying to do. Just allow me to color code this. This works. So this is your fourth one here. Your fifth one this paragraph is your contribution, this one, right? And last one is your organization of your paper. Now, agar tumhe pehle, if you remember the previous lectures, you will realize that I was constantly talking about this tip. I was just saying that you have to pick up a niche, a particular thing, a specific point, and that is the exact thing that should be reflected when you're writing your introduction. You have to talk about it in the first paragraph. You have to do the broad introduction, then you have to do some specific introduction, then you have to tell about the significance of your work. Why is it important? What is it you're going for, and why you're going for it. So why is important. Yahan why hai aur phir what hai. Then in the fourth one, we tell exactly what is it that we are doing. So usually tum dekhoge this paragraph will always start from in this work, and then you talk about it, right? Or mind you, ये जो paragraphs हैं, it is not important कि 3 ही हो. They can be 6, 8, 20 also, depending upon the requirement at hand. तो मे बी ब्रॉड इंट्रो चाहिए तो उसमें 2 पैराग्राफ लग गए, सिर्फ टॉपिक इंट्रोड्यूस करने में 3 लग गए, राइट? So that is perfectly possible and perfectly fine, but in minimum possible scenario you need at least 6 paragraphs, and that is what I'm telling you, what is it you are supposed to put in those 6 paragraphs. Now we are going to come in towards the most important one, which is our 5th paragraph. Number 1, V is for victory also. So this victory represents, this V basically represents the 5th paragraph, the contribution of your work, and this is the most important part of the paper. Contribution basically says, it says that the writer or researcher is familiar that there is an existing body of work, right? Existing body of work on any particular area. आप first नहीं होगे उस पे काम करने वाले. There would be many people who have already worked on that area. So we say that there is an existing body of work, and we read that work and we find out that what is it that is missing, or what is it that is not done to a level जिस level पे हो सकता था, and we find out those gaps, and then we start working on our on our paper. और ultimate goal इस process का ये है, the ultimate goal of this process is to enhance the existing body of work. Existing body of work. Now, do you understand what it means? It's a very significant line. It is simply saying that whatever you're working, there will be an existing body of work, right? You read and you find out what is it that can be done, and then you say that these are the gaps, and then you provide a solution for it, right? The ultimate goal is to say that we are enhancing the existing body of work, which means you have to recognize, you have to read, you have to know about the stuff that other people have done, and then you have to say where you come into the picture. I mean, if someone has written advantages of blockchain, they have written 10, they've given 100 references, right? And you're feeling that it is not up to the mark, so you also started to work on advantages of blockchain, and you wrote 14, and you gave maybe 140 references. But then someone else came into the picture, and someone else thought that advantages ki baat to ho gayi, but no one has talked about disadvantages of blockchain, and he proposed 5 points with 10 references. Now another researcher comes into picture. He also looks at advantages and disadvantages of blockchain, and he's like, 5 nahi, there can be more. So he starts working, he gets 10, and there are 50 references. Now this keeps on happening, and now we have 1000 papers which are written on advantages and disadvantages, right? So do you think that there is any need to work on this? I don't think that there is any need to work on this, because there is already a lot of work, and no matter how much effort you're going to put, you will not be able to compete with people who have already done the work. On the contrary, I can say that blockchain, when integrated with industrial IoT, when integrated with security, is one area जिसके advantages or disadvantages are something that no one has critically thought about. Now this can be my work, and this will be my contribution, and I'm going to say that existing works are not up to the mark with regard to this particular topic. I can say that although much work has been done, still there is a need of a decisive study regarding so and so. You have to tell about the importance, why you're doing it, and that comes in this part, in this contribution or section. And let me tell you this one thing. I said that people read your abstracts, right? After title, they get into abstracts to know what is it that your paper is providing. The second place that people go for is the conclusion, to know that what is it that they're concluding on. If the person is still unclear that what is it that this paper is doing, then that person is going to look at the contribution. Always they're going directly, they're not reading your introduction, what you've written, that they're not going to read these paragraphs 1, 2, 3, 4. The reader will directly go to this particular section, section 5, which is talking about the contribution of your work. Now contribution says that what is it that you are contributing. जो मैं यहाँ बात कर रही थी ना existing body को enhance करने की, तो existing body enhance कब होगी? When you're going to add something to it, then only the body can enhance, right? So this adding is your contribution. Now you have to find out what is it that I'm going to add, and that is a very obvious question. So usually you can have 3 contributions if you want. You can even have 1, but you'll have to defend it. Usually it is better to go with 3 or 4 contributions, which are very specific and something that you can work on. And these contributions are always going to start with action verbs, right? Always going to start with action verbs. To propose, to identify, to implement, to compare, to survey, to review, such kind of things. So action verbs have to be there, and this you will realize when you do exhaustive reading, when you're going to read and read and read, and maybe but definitely use your own mind and observe as much as you can, right? Because there is no other way. No one can walk for you, right? So if you are here and you have to go here, this is the mountain peak, right? You will have to go one step at a time, right? This is how it has to be. And if there is this one person and he feels like koi aur kar de, not possible, right? You will have to walk every step of the way by yourself, which means that if you want to claim that you have written a research paper or you've become a researcher, you will have to think like that. You'll have to evolve yourself like that. And that is why this entire exercise is so important, right? Writing technical articles is very important because it uplifts your standard. So if you know and if you work this out and if you decode this, I guarantee you would be very happy for the rest of your life, and everywhere you go you'll have praises because you will have a critical bent of mind, right? And you would not be afraid to execute it because you have already done it before. So the most important ingredient is to have faith, is to have hope in yourself. You're not dumb. Like I might say that you are dumb right now because you don't know about this, doing all of this. But the moment you learn, and that can only happen when you do it, you will become smart, and you will become a smart researcher, not just smart. And this is a goal, something to strive for. The problem that I face with students is that they get into that very rustic mindset where they want to be told exactly, right? Like we have kids, we hold their hands and we make them walk. They want the exact same thing because that is what they have seen or witnessed for their lives, that specific assignments you copy them, specific exams you do this, specific tasks on a day in day out basis. And there's no pushing in the mind actually. So that's why we are not able to learn, and that is why many of the students they fall behind in research because they want to be told exactly the very same thing, and that is not possible. It has to be a very rigorous and unique effort, and you'll have to open your mind. That's all. Coming back to contribution, they're always action verbs, and they're usually 3 to 4, right? I will show you in this one of the papers. So what contribution basically tells or does for your work is it basically gives you the pointers, or you can also call them objective, that what is the objective of your work, right? So this will give you specific goals, that this is what I'm doing for this particular work, and you usually chart out 3 to 4, and then you start answering them section wise. You start answering them. For example, you have to, again, you're just writing that I'm comparing advantages, disadvantages of so area in so and so area. Then I am proposing a new something for a particular area or in a particular technology. Then you're saying that I have implemented it, and then you are saying that I have then analyzed the results, right? So now ideally what happens is One section would be advantages and disadvantages. One section would be to proposed model. One section would be implementation. One section would be results. And lastly, you can have discussions or maybe merge this together. Then you can have your conclusion followed by references. So body of the work aa gaya and sections aa gaye. Every contribution ka point has to be justified. Please remember that the the objectiveness of your contribution is going to tell the reader how good you are, and delivering what you have promised is going to tell the reader again how good you are. So don't over promise and under deliver. That is why people ask to never promise, because once we promise, then we have to deliver the exact same thing. And if you're unable to deliver, then whatever you deliver will always fall short of the expectations of the other person. If I promise someone that I will give you, heavens and whatever, the other person would exactly expect heavens. And even if I give, the the 1% lesser version of heaven, still the person would be not satisfied, because what was expected was 100% heaven, right? So only promise what you can deliver. And if you're unable to deliver it, many times it happens that we've picked up a contribution and we are unable to justify it. You can simply go back and change your promises. You have that you have that freedom in this body of work. And let me iterate it one more time. Your introduction, the first time you're going to write it, is going to be very, very useless. Your contribution may be also very useless. So this, will be rewritten, and I will help you in that. These paragraphs are something that you're going to write again and again until I am satisfied, right? What I mean by this is that they should be coherent. They should make sense, right? And they should deliver. Most importantly, they should deliver what they are supposed to deliver. If the user is standing on this pedestal, here is my user, and the user wants to come here, you have to provide those stairs. Otherwise, this person will, directly fall and die. This person will die because usko nahi samajh mein aayega. But on the contrary, if you provide these stepping stones, the person may not die, and the person may be happy to know that, okay, now I understand what is it that you're doing, right? So always make sure that you're very specific and you deliver to whatever is being asked for. And these paragraphs, the introduction paragraphs, must be coherent. Coherent is a very strong word. If you don't know about it, please read it. And when you're working on your introduction, when you're reviewing your own introduction, then ask yourself these questions. Is it clear? Is it concise? Do I need these sentences? Many times this happens, hum likh dete hain for the sake of writing. We don't stop. And then we again write and we don't stop. And later on we realize that the majority version of this, for example, this part of my line as well as this part of my line, was useless. And only this part was nice, and this part was nice, and this was nice. So you keep on editing over and over again. That is the only secret to getting a good work. No one writes ekdam se aake koi nahi likh deta hai na. It is a work in progress. It is repetitive iterations that make it better. But repetitive iterations better tab hongi when you are using your mind to the full capacity, when you're thinking about that topic in a full capacity, when you're saying that you are a competent authority to comment on that topic because you have read enough and you know enough. So read, revise, and write over and over again. There is this one more yardstick that I use to see how well I'm writing. I assume that I will be the one who is going to read this. And on a meter of getting angry, 0 to 100, I then analyze how pissed I am. How bad do I feel? Is it like satisfying me or is it not satisfying me? And I go till the point when it does satisfy me. 100 to nahi ho sakta, but it is still better. 80, 90 is also still better. You just have to convey in plain and simple manners. Plain and simple manner. Many of the times you can't escape technical words, but sometimes I've seen students doing it unnecessarily. You don't need more words and you're still putting more words uselessly just to fill in the page. Now that is a very, very rookie error. Very rookie error. Don't do that. It would be directly rejected. The reviewer will not even bother to read the rest of the pages. शुरू के 5-6 में उसे समझ आ जाएगा. Contribution और contribution के section देख के the person will understand. Now moving on to the last paragraph. After that we will close this video. So the last paragraph always talks about the paper organization. Meaning how your paper is organized. How your paper is organized. Because this tells other people, where they can go directly if they want to know something, which section do they have to jump from. So ideally it is like, the rest of the work is organized as follows. That is how we write: the rest of the work is organized. The rest of, where is it? Yeah. So the rest of the work is organized as follows. Section 2 talks about the literature review of this area, or section 2 talks about the related work in this area. Section 3 talks about the necessary technical background maybe. Section 4 talks about the section that you are proposing or the contribution. It's very easy if you map them, if you put them contribution and then you write. And lastly, you can say that lastly we conclude our work, right? And this is your last paragraph. And then you start with the next section. So ideally, just to revise back, your introduction is going to comprise of first 60% would be actual introduction, where you are introducing the topic itself, है ना. वो introduction का मतलब ही वो है. You are coming from a very broad level and you're going to a very specific level. You're actually bringing the reader. जैसे वो lens का दिखा है तुमने? I think it's like this arrow, है ना. जब ये बोलते हैं कि ये छोटी सी चीज़ है, उसका expanded version इतना बड़ा बना के दिखाते हैं. So same goes here. We are saying that a very broad, overview we start giving and we reach till the specific topics. After this is done, then we talk about the contribution of our work, which is very important. और contribution directly बताने से पहले we do tell the significance and need of our work. इससे पिछले paragraph में, so that this is connected. Then only this will be connected. And once you write the contribution, which is in bullet points, then you talk about the paper organization. Ideally, there are lots of references and lots of statistics and numbers, because it is easier to, say or claim something based on a number. For example, if there is an attack on McAfee, let's suppose of $100 trillion. Now, if I use this number and say that cybersecurity is very important, then it says something, right? If I simply write cybersecurity is important, that is a very vague and that is not a specific statement, right? So you will not use it in such a context. But if I write that so and so has happened, that's why security is important, then that becomes a valid argument. So that's all about introduction. If you have any doubts, you can put them in the comment box below and we can discuss. Thank you so very much.